A triple murder in Guntersville shocked this quaint town, the first killings in nearly a decade. The victims include a 7-year-old boy spending time with his great-grandmother.
Brutally murdered. Easily been anybody down here. That's pretty tough.
Jimmy O'Neill Spencer is the man police hold responsible for the July 13th triple murder. The state's Board of Pardons and Paroles didn't think he needed to spend more time in prison, so they let him out early. Then, Spencer didn't think he needed to stay at his court-mandated halfway house. We came to Montgomery, to the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles, and spoke to the board spokesperson who says that Spencer's supervising officer had no idea Spencer left his court-mandated halfway house early.
Whenever he got arrested in Guntersville, that's when it came to the realization that he was not living at the halfway house. That is when it came to our attention.
Spencer's case file included multiple prison escapes, a prison assault, and a burglary attempt that resulted in him getting shot.
That information is available to the board.
Why was he able to be paroled, though?
I can't tell you what goes on in the board member's mind. I mean, they're given the information, they're presented the information. If they didn't have a lot of any issues over the past dozen or so years or however long, a lot of times they will give a person the benefit of the doubt.
The board sent him to a halfway house in Birmingham, then he left. Again, how could this have happened?
Anybody that we supervise, they're mandated contacts that they're supposed to make, and in those contacts are home visits, employment checks, things along those lines.
The board says Spencer was checking in. He just wasn't telling the truth.
He was still reporting, he was still listing the address, so we thought he was still where he was. Didn't raise any flags at the time.
Spencer came out of prison with multiple burglary and escape convictions. Authorities say he used his freedom to get into more trouble. A drug-related arrest in Etowah County, a run-in with police at Guntersville State Park. Still, the board didn't realize he wasn't at a halfway house in Birmingham until
cases do go wrong. People do get hurt.
For the people of Alabama, that's just not good enough. Taking action, Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19. 25-year-old Abigail Stafford and her husband are a young family with a new baby and new priorities.
All of our money is put where it needs to be.
The couple purchased this house on Kaufman Drive in Athens last May. Abigail thought it was the perfect place to raise their family.
We found something that was affordable for right then, well within our means.
That was then.
And now it's well without.
The mortgage fit within their budget and even left a little extra in their bank account.
I didn't want to get too high to where we could be comfortable.
But they didn't realize the federal government would be so involved.
It caught me off guard.
The Staffords were delighted to find their dream home and thrilled when their offer got accepted. But then they went to see their mortgage company. That's when they learned the federal government would require them to have flood insurance, even though the sellers told them the house had never flooded over the previous 30 years.
An extra $250 a month is crazy. It's like, where are we going to find this?
The news shocked the Staffords and the previous owners, who agreed to pay for the first year of coverage. But now it's time to renew.
And that's what caused our mortgage payment to go up almost $200, $250. So we were going to end up paying almost $1,000 a month for the house. And there's just no way, because our minimum budget was, our max budget was $750.
Abigail and her husband tried to challenge the flood zone 3 times.
They said that I'm still required.
WHNT News 19 is taking action to investigate if there's any solution for her family. We shared her story with Micah Cochran. He's the City of Athens Geographic Information Systems Coordinator.
Usually we get the calls, like the couple that you interviewed, of, oh, we're in a flood zone?
Cochran showed me FEMA's map of the City of Athens, separated by the 3 flood districts, flood zones X, AE, and A. X is outside the flood zone. Zone AE has a designated area for flooding. Zone A is an area with nearly a 1% chance of flooding per year. The Stafford's home is in Zone A.
There's not much you can do with the Zone A. We don't know. We don't know what the risk is, so they're going to have to carry flood insurance.
No matter where you're purchasing a home, check whether you need to carry flood insurance. Every community has a floodplain administrator, and a call to them could save you lots of money.
It's hundreds, perhaps thousands of extra dollars more per year.
This flood map dates back to 2009. FEMA is releasing a new map in August. Unfortunately, the Staffords shouldn't bank on any changes.
No, they're still in the flood zone.
It's complicated, but we're going to make it work because we have to.
Abigail doesn't want unexpected insurance costs to sink another family's savings. Taking action in Athens, Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19. Images inside what appears to be the Marshall County Jail showing inmates smoking and fighting. It's no wonder videos like this, pulled from an inmate's Facebook page at the Marshall County Jail, are causing concern. The man on the right appears to be Brandon Bennett. He's been in the Marshall County Jail since May 17th, charged with shooting into an occupied dwelling.
Go here. Got there, bro. One more time.
This violent video is filmed inside the jail. One local person who's watched the videos and is familiar with the jail environment spoke with us on the condition that we kept them anonymous.
And how does the staff let things like this go on in the jail?
Fighting isn't the only apparent issue. A Marshall County resident sent me video that we believe an inmate recorded on the social media app Snapchat.
How many you want? Smoking good right now on my bunk.
Other people have received social media messages with pictures like this. This one shows an inmate wearing Marshall County sweats. Another wearing a pair of expensive tennis shoes. The man second from the left appears to be inmate Fentress Armour, in jail on a parole violation. The one second from the right, former inmate Wesley Staten, charged with using false identity. And the one on the far right, inmate AJ Armour, charged with trafficking meth. People in the community are wondering how and why inmates have contraband, cell phones, marijuana, and possibly more.
They're reaching out and getting drugs back into the jail and even more cell phones back into the jail.
The inmates clearly seem to be unsupervised, and that may not be a coincidence. WHNT News 19's investigation has uncovered records showing the jail is understaffed with inexperienced guards. They currently have 18 jailers supervising 274 inmates. One of those belonged to Jonathan Foster, who was arrested on Monday. Vacant positions are not a new problem.
We have a personnel department here next door that continuously interviews people and tries to fill these slots.
Records show 10 of the 18 jailers have been on the job less than 6 months. They are paid between almost $11 and $23 per hour. The jailers start out on the low end of this range.
It's a tough job, and they have a hard time of getting people that stay in the jail with the amount of pay they get.
Some police officers tell me that the conditions inside the jail are chaotic. Residents have told me they wonder what's happening in there. They don't know what their taxes are paying for, and others have said that they're worried that the conditions depicted in those pictures and video are breeding a culture of gang violence. Commission Chairman James Hutchison provided records showing Marshall County residents have paid nearly $1 million in overtime for jailers in the past 5 years. They've already paid about $250,000 this year. Still, it doesn't seem the job is getting done.
Try to provide all the financial resources that he needs to do the job.
Money for a jail that appears to be a breeding ground for violence and a dumping ground for your tax dollars. Taking action in Gunnersville, Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19.